Kimberly Benton, a retired nurse, resided in Albuquerque, New Mexico at 65. Her 2 children were grown and had left the nest. Although she had 2 children, there was one person she never forgot. Despite her painful past, she hadn't forgotten them. It was always apparent to Kimberly that she was more drawn to women, even though she had once been married. She believed she was meant to be with a woman. The falsehoods Kimberly lived by led to the end of her marriage. Despite the challenges in her marriage, she never regretted it, as it brought her 2 cherished children. Following her divorce, Kimberly promptly re-entered the dating scene. An extroverted individual, she relished meeting new people. Through her nutritious diet and regular exercise, she maintained a youthful appearance at 65. Her self-care and demeanor were exceptional. After going to parties and clubs for late nights didn't meet her needs any longer, she tried a new approach. Rather than staying up until the wee hours just to watch out for weird people that lingered at night, she found it easier to meet people another way. She began online dating after her dear daughter Esme introduced her to it. At first it was intimidating, but Kimberly soon mastered it. Trying to match with someone on the platform consumed hours of her time. Kimberly's match was soon made. Despite this, though, she remained skeptical. Isn't it easy to understand why the person she was matched up with was 30 years younger than her? That was completely unexpected. She looked much younger than her age, which was fortunate for her, in her opinion. Matching with someone much younger than herself was a big compliment, and she looked far younger than her 65 years. After finding her match, she began chatting with Jamie right away. Soon, Kimberly knew she was onto something special when the chatting sessions turned into hours. In a way, Jamie reminded Kimberly of herself because she was funny and sweet. Their shared interests were remarkable, and Kimberly thought it was wonderful to meet them in person. As soon as the date was set, Kimberly went shopping for a new outfit, and a bouquet of flowers was also purchased. As the first date approached, she wanted to buy chocolates as well, but she didn't want to appear too eager. They met at an Italian restaurant downtown. In addition to being nervous, Kimberly feared making a bad first impression. As soon as they met, all nerves and worries vanished. There was something so relaxed and grounded about Jamie. There was no doubt in Kimberly's mind that she had struck gold. It was a flawless first date for them. Together, they shared stories, laughed, and bonded over travel and art. In spite of their significant age gap, it felt like they had known each other for years. In the months that followed, Kimberly and Jamie's relationship grew stronger. Creating cherished memories and exploring new places together was one of the things they did as much as possible. When Kimberly realized that they shared a genuine love and understanding, her initial concerns faded away. However, amidst their blissful romance, Kimberly couldn't shake off the nagging feeling that there was something more to their connection. She noticed certain physical traits in Jamie that seemed oddly familiar. The way she tilted her head when she laughed, the shape of her eyes. Kimberly felt she'd seen Jamie somewhere before. Curiosity overwhelmed Kimberly, and she decided to confide in her best friend, Linda, about her suspicions. Linda listened intently, her eyes widening with surprise. Linda had been her best friend since college, and she knew all her deepest, darkest secrets, and in her feelings, Linda knew what she had to overcome to get where she was now. "Kimberly, are you forgetting something?" Kimberly looked at Linda's surprise. There was something she had forgotten about, something she'd gone through many years ago. But as always, Linda was there, ready to support her every step of the way. Kimberly had never brought it up again, even though she thought of it occasionally. But Kimberly didn't really understand what Linda was getting at. She trusted her, but if she was thinking about what Kimberly thought she was, surely she was mistaken. After all these years, how could something like this happen? Kimberly didn't even want to think of it. It was wrong on so many levels. But she had no idea the topic would be brought up again. "What do you mean, Linda? What am I forgetting?" Kimberly asked, her brow furrowing with confusion. She couldn't fathom what her best friend was hinting at. Linda took a deep breath and reached out to hold Kimberly's hands. "Kimberly, do you remember the daughter you gave up for adoption over 30 years ago?" Kimberly's eyes widened, her heart skipping a beat. She hadn't thought about her biological daughter in years, burying the pain and guilt deep within her. She nodded slowly, her voice barely a whisper. "Yes, I remember." At 65, she admitted her memory wasn't what it used to be, but that was one thing she would never forget. Linda's voice was gentle as she continued, "What if, Kimberly? What if Jamie is your daughter?" A gasp escaped Kimberly's lips as the weight of Linda's words hit her. Her mind raced, trying to process the possibility. Could it really be true? Was the universe playing a cruel trick on her? And why was Linda suggesting that Jamie might be her daughter? Images from the past flooded Kimberly's mind as she thought back to the day she made the painful decision to give up her baby girl. She remembered the tears, the heartache, and the longing to provide her daughter with a better life. Tears welled up in Kimberly's eyes as she whispered, "But how could this be possible?" Linda leaned closer, her voice filled with concern. "Kimberly, it's just a hunch, but the resemblance between you and Jamie is uncanny. I think it's time you take a DNA test to confirm if she is indeed your daughter." The room fell into silence as Kimberly contemplated Linda's words. The mix of emotions swirling inside her was overwhelming. Fear, hope, regret, and anticipation battled within her heart. After days of wrestling with her emotions, Kimberly made up her mind. She couldn't let the uncertainty linger any longer. She needed to know the truth, even if it meant facing the painful consequences of her past actions. With a determined look on her face, Kimberly reached out for her phone and started researching DNA testing services. She knew that taking the test was the only way to uncover the truth and put her doubts to rest. Weeks passed as Kimberly anxiously waited for the DNA test results. Her relationship with Jamie had become strained, both of them feeling the tension and unspoken questions lingering between them. Every passing day felt like an eternity, and Kimberly couldn't focus on anything else. She replayed every moment spent with Jamie, searching for more signs that would confirm or deny their possible familial connection. Finally, the day arrived when Kimberly received the long-awaited email with the DNA test results. Her hands trembled as she opened the message, her heart pounding with a mix of anticipation and dread. As her eyes scanned the screen, Kimberly's breath caught in her throat. The results confirmed the unthinkable. Jamie was her daughter. Shockwaves of emotion surged through Kimberly's body. She collapsed onto her couch, tears streaming down her face. The truth was both a relief and a heavy burden to bear. Kimberly knew she had to tell Jamie the life-changing truth, but wanted to find the right time. After weeks of planning, she chose a weekend getaway to a secluded cabin. The setting was serene, and Kimberly hoped it would make the conversation easier. Arriving at the cabin, Kimberly felt the weight of the truth she was about to share. The first evening was filled with laughter, but Kimberly couldn't shake the anticipation of the conversation. On the second day after breakfast, Kimberly opened up to Jamie on the cabin's porch, overlooking the mountains. She explained their connection and why she had been feeling familiar with Jamie. Jamie's eyes widened, sensing the gravity of the situation. "What is it, Kimberly? You're starting to worry me." Kimberly took Jamie's hand in hers, seeking strength in their touch. "Jamie, I recently discovered something that I never expected. After Linda mentioned it, I took a DNA test, and the results confirmed that you're my daughter." Jamie's jaw dropped, her eyes welling up with tears. Emotions cascaded over her face, shock, confusion, and disbelief. "No, that can't be true. How is that possible?" Jamie couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her whole life was a lie, and the woman she thought was the love of her life turned out to be her biological mother. It was a twisted revelation, and she just wanted to disappear. Kimberly felt sad when she saw how much her daughter was hurting. She told Jamie about her past, the hard choice she had to make many years ago, and how it was surprising that they had ended up together. This news made Jamie feel very mixed up inside. She didn't know how to make sense of her new identity along with the life she had always known. She felt like she was being pulled in different directions, feeling abandoned, curious, and wanting to connect. Kimberly watched as Jamie struggled with all these feelings. She wanted to give Jamie the time and space she needed to think things through, while also making sure Jamie knew that their relationship was real. Over time, Kimberly and Jamie started to heal and understand each other better. They went to therapy together to help them navigate their complicated situation.